Charlie Munger said that a lot of people with very high IQs are terrible investors because they have terrible temperaments. And this proves the point that emotional management ends up being more important than raw intelligence at the higher echelons of business. Today, we're going to discuss a very simple framework that you can use to progressively become the master of your emotions. So whenever the going gets tough, you are in total control and do not mess things up unnecessarily. Welcome back. Hello everyone, Leon Castillo here, CEO and founder of Selfmastered, which is a company that specializes in peak cognitive performance training for entrepreneurs and business leaders. We've blended the most actionable framework from behavioral science, complexity science, and neuroscience into a methodology that uses data to solidify performance improvements over time. Our clients call us their secret weapon. Today I want to discuss something that I believe is crucial for everybody really, but especially for entrepreneurs, and it's correct emotional control. See, emotions are mysterious artifacts that, depending on who you ask, psychologists, philosophers, they all have a different explanation and a different origin for those emotions. But the thing that we want to prove today, and we encourage you to try, is to think of your emotions as something that stems from the mechanics of your life. And therefore, if you change the underlying mechanics, you can affect the emotions that you are feeling. The problem that we found with most trainings on emotions is that they are post-conflict management things, right? So they normally treat emotions once they have already happened, which may have great effect in the short term, but they never really get into the root cause, so they don't solve problem. What we want to say is that if you see yourself as a complex system with parts that can be tweaked, you can optimize your cognition and your environment to give you the kind of emotions that you want, that is, positive emotions. Of course, you will always have bad things happening to you that trigger bad emotions, but if you are ready, it will be much easier to not transform pain into suffering. Remember that Benjamin Franklin said that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So by working actively in preventing bad emotions from arising, you will have leverage whenever they in fact do arise. And in order to make this work, just basically choose strategies. One that targets the internal, your cognition, and the other one that targets the external, your environment. Let's start with your cognition. See, the most important thing that you need to do is to lower your emotional variance if you want to perform at elite level. You need to lower your impulsivity and mind the gap between action and reaction, between what happens to you and your reaction to whatever happens to you. By training yourself to see the distance, you will be much better ready when things come crashing down. In fact, if you think about the renaissance of Stoicism and the rising popularity of Jordan Peterson, all of it is explained because somehow society has lost perspective on what it means, of what good emotional control actually means. And both these phenomena are really based on minding how you react to things. So by training yourself, and there's several ways to do this, to mind the gap between action and reaction, you will be better ready. And you will progressively architect your cognition to identify sources of negative emotions and getting rid of them, but also not getting too caught up in positive emotional roller coaster that end up having a downside at some point. The goal is to be calm and ruthless, and ideally manufacture a way of feeling an emotional level that we internally call emotional nirvana, in which you are content with what you have with the present and you will have optimism for the future. So you are over reliant on motivation to get going. You just know that you need to do whatever it is that you need to do, and you just summon the courage to do it. Now, It's true that the external can never really defeat the internal, but we still need to pay attention to what's going on externally, because the same way that we architect our cognition, we can architect our environment. And we do so by removing all those external influences that are hijacking ourselves. That can be bad patterns, bad experiences, whatever it is that you believe is not helping you towards your goals. You need to remove that so that progressively that environment that surrounds you is supporting your goals. Obviously, you cannot prevent bad things from happening to you, but the goal here is to be so poised whenever this happens that you are better ready to self-manage yourself successfully in the middle of the entrepreneurial storm. So, as a quick recap, we've said that emotions follow mechanics, and if we see ourselves as a system, we can tweak to our favor those parts of our cognition and our environment that are responsible for managing bad emotions, and manufacture what we call emotional nirvana, which is a state in which you are calm, with low emotional variance in the present, confident about your abilities to handle whatever situation you're in, but also highly optimist in the future. This is what you need to be operating on. And if you're not confident in the present or not optimistic in the future, then ask yourself what parts of the system of you internally and the environment in that system is performing are not helping you to work you in that state. And of course, remove everything that doesn't serve you. Hopefully this was useful. Please let me know in the comments, what state do you normally perform at, and how do you feel you could apply this to your own life? And of course, like, subscribe, comment, do everything you guys know you need to do so that we can reach more people and serve more people. And if you want expert help, happy to have a one-on-one consult together for the Selfmastered Evolution program so that we can take you and your business to the next level. Thank you very much.